Coming up on Sports Paws, breaking news on the Quinnipiac men's lacrosse team. The Bobcats are suspended, but what for, and how will it affect their season?
Next, we will take you to an interview with Quinnipiac men's soccer player Eamon Whalen. We will hear about how he's bounced back from injury.
And women's hockey is back in action. We'll see how they did in the team's first scrimmage.
All that and much more right here on Sports Paws. Bobcat Nation, welcome back to another episode of Sports Paws. I'm Eric Kerr, and I'm very excited to be on the show for the first time.
And I'm Kyle Lavasser. Happy to be on the desk with you, Eric, for your first time. As a senior, believe me when I say it goes by way too fast. We start tonight with a developing story of the Quinnipiac men's lacrosse team. The Bobcats have been suspended and are currently unable to practice. Lynn Bushnell, Quinnipiac's Vice President for Public Affairs, told Inside Lacrosse yesterday, quote, "This suspension, which takes effect immediately, prohibits all team activity, including practicing and representing the university in competitions. With the well-being of our students being our top priority, the university has zero tolerance for any behavior that endangers any member of the university community." End quote. Quinnipiac is coming off a season in which it went 6-0 in MAC play before losing in overtime in the MAC semifinals.
We're now bringing in men's lacrosse beat reporter Chris Stacy. Chris, thanks for being here.
Well, thanks for having me on, guys.
Chris, why is the men's lacrosse team suspended?
Well, all we know is all what Lynn Bushnell said right now. That's all that we really know at the moment. It's something else that came out today is that the coaches staff is not suspended. It is just the players. It says that she said that the student code of conduct was violated, and that could include many things, including alcohol, hazing, harassment, and discriminations, and there's about a dozen more in the student handbook that are mentioned, and it could be any one of those, and we just don't know at this moment.
Okay, Chris, so as you just said, it's still unclear, and it is only the players on the team, not the coaches, that are suspended. So what are the repercussions for the players that are suspended?
Well, it's tough to tell right now, Kyle, since the investigation is still ongoing.
Sure.
It is through public safety, and public safety will report their findings to student affairs, and then they will make the decision on from there. The decision, there's no timetable for it. If there is, it hasn't been announced. So right now, it's all up in the air. What is going to happen to this team? If it's going to affect the entire team, is it going to affect certain players? It's just a weird situation right now because you really don't hear about whole teams getting suspended. You might hear about a player or two or getting suspended for other off-field issues, but the whole team is something that you really don't hear about, and Quinnipiac has said that they want to keep it in-house, so it will be interesting to see if the NCAA also gets involved, but right now it is under investigation by Quinnipiac.
So, Chris, you did mention the undetermining timetable. Do you know if this team will still be able to play this year, or?
Well, right now they can't do anything. There was a scrimmage that was set for October 5th with Sacred Heart. That's up in the air right now, and if what Lynn Bushnell said was true, they will not be playing. As for the season, who knows? You know, this investigation is still going on. What could be found? What could be found? If the entire season goes under, who knows? If it could be certain players, it'll be interesting to see. But like I said, there's no timetable. We really don't know what happened. We don't know who was involved. If it was the entire team, certain players. So who knows what the suspension will come out, if it will last into the actual spring season, which is very far away. So it'll be interesting to see. But right now, we have no idea.
Okay, Chris, and I think I know the answer to this already, but as Lynn Bushnell said, it's effective immediately, the suspension, but you don't know how long the suspension will last.
Right now, no, we don't know how long the suspension will last. Right now, players they're still on campus.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a few were on campus today in class, so players are still here. Like I said, it's up in the air. We don't really know where it's going to go from here.
Well, Chris, thank you so much for the update. We appreciate you taking the time. You've been working extremely hard on this, so thank you very much. For all men's lacrosse coverage, follow Chris at @ChrisStacy_ and at Q30 Sports on Twitter. Eric, let's move over to the Quinnipiac women's soccer team. The Bobcats began their MAC schedule this past weekend. Let's see if they started on the right foot.
Yes, I agree. So here we go now, women's soccer.
Taking on the Fairfield Stags at home, Quinnipiac looking for its first conference win of the season, facing the Stags at home. We'll jump to the first half after a few opening ceremonies with their starting rosters. First half here, Selena Salas passes it to Lauren Triglione. She boots one from outside the box, just a bit high. Game still tied with no score. Later on in the first half, Kelsey Goldring, she had herself a day. Bang! Quinnipiac up 1-0. That's her first goal of the day. Later on in the first half, we'll actually jump on to the second half. Quinnipiac leads 2-0 at this point, and Fairfield gonna try and get back in it, but Quinnipiac's defense too much. They'll clear the ball out of the zone. Quinnipiac goes on to win 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that you're always looking for in the league is to win, and then a win and a good performance with scoring goals, then a clean sheet, and then getting players in. And it's rare that you get all 4 or 5, and we did it today. Got the win, got the shutout, scored goals, got players in, and actually played well and picked up the 3 points. So I can't ask any more.
A key player behind Quinnipiac's victory was Kelsey Goldring. On Saturday, she was the leading scorer against Fairfield, knocking in 2 goals in the Bobcats' 3-0 shutout. Goldring only 1 goal in 5 games coming into the match, but is now tied for the lead in goals amongst her team.
Another Bobcat who shined for the women's soccer team is Olivia Majszewski. The junior goalie notched her 2nd career MAC Defensive Player of the Week award. Majszewski shut out Fairfield in Quinnipiac's 3-0 win on Saturday, the 2nd of her career.
The studio is full of analysts today. Let's welcome in Ryan Flaherty.
Great to be here, guys.
Ryan, the Bobcats are 3-0-1 in their last 4 games. Who has been stepping up for the Bobcats lately?
Well, the obvious answer here is Lauren Triglione. Took over the Nadia Gill role in the striker position, and she's done a fantastic job this season. She co-leads the team with 3 goals and leads the team with 8 points, but 2 players that I would say to keep an eye on are Kelsey Goldring and Madison Barowick. Goldring, a co-MAC Rookie of the Year last year, and was awarded All-MAC preseason team, in the coaches poll. And Barowick, just a very dynamic player who is always in the right place at the right time, so I would watch out for those 2 as the season progresses.
Ryan, one thing we can certainly agree upon is the women's soccer team has been very hot lately, winning 3 out of their last 4 contests. What has been working in the Bobcats' success?
I really think it's their team chemistry that's been working. We talked about Nadia Gill not being the primary scorer for this team this year, obviously, so they've had to take a more team-based approach, and I think we're really seeing it pay off on the field when you look at this team and how important it is that they're having fun when they win. We often look at sports and teams are so focused and disciplined, but I think when you can be focused enough to compete but confident enough to have some fun while doing it, this team could be really dangerous.
Ryan, I'm sure Dave Clark is happy that his team is getting hot right as MAC play is starting. Speaking of conference play, what game should we look out for?
Well, there's 2 games that jump out to me on the schedule. You look at October 6th, an away game against Monmouth. Monmouth, clearly the team to beat in the MAC, having won the last 5 MAC tournaments. So that is going to be a very tough road contest, but Quinnipiac is a team that was picked to finish 2nd in the MAC this year in the preseason poll, and they've been playing really good soccer lately. And then October 24th, another away game at Manhattan, a team that knocked Quinnipiac out of the MAC tournament last year in the semifinals. So it'll be their last game going into tournament play, so that will be another key road contest that I think can help them out, especially so close to tournament play.
And Ryan, another team that's very dangerous in Quinnipiac's size is Monmouth. Can this team finally get over the hump and beat them this season?
So that's the big question, and I think they really can if they continue to play aggressively and continue to battle for balls. And Monmouth has started off 1-1, so they have shown their weaknesses. And Quinnipiac, as we've talked about, 3-0-1 in their last 4 games, playing very great soccer. I think this could be the year that someone overtakes Monmouth.
Ryan, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Let's move over from the soccer pitch to the field hockey field. The Quinnipiac Bobcats faced the Georgetown Hoyas after a tough 8-0 loss to the #1 team in the Big East, that's UConn. So let's see how they did rebounding against Georgetown, trying to pick up their first Big East win of the year, currently 0-1. They'd be at home for this one, and in the first half, it looks like Georgetown's going to get off early on a penalty corner. They're celebrating, but it's taken back. The ball is just a little bit too high, and that's illegal in field hockey. So still no score, but the Hoyas rebound very soon after that, get a nice goal, 1-0 off a backhand, beating Hannah Teicher. Quinnipiac, they'll respond though, tying up the game later in the first half. It's Elisa Ruiz Martinez right in front of the net off the penalty corner, 1-1 going into halftime. Second half, Bobcats trying to take their first lead of the game, and they'll get it here on the penalty corner. Taking advantage of the penalty corners is their bread and butter. Eric, let me tell you, they're up 2-1 here.
Certainly looks like it, Kyle.
Later in the second half, Georgetown trying to make a comeback. Bobcats are able to clear the ball, and here another one, they get a stick on it right before Teicher dives, going over the net, stopping the ball. And as time is expiring at the end of the game, you'll hear the buzzer right here. Quinnipiac celebrating. Here's Hannah Teicher. She gets her first Big East win of her career. Bobcats win 2-1. They're 4-4 and 1-1 in Big East play.
Quinnipiac feel like he's coming off a tough 8-0 loss against the #1 team, the Big East UConn. We'll see if they get bounced back at the team's second conference matchup against Georgetown. Recently, the Bobcats field hockey team could not continue their win streak, though, after Sunday's 5-1 loss to UMass Lowell. The Rocks came soaring out of the gate with their first goal 16 minutes in and just never looked back from there. One bright spot for the Bobcats came from freshman Alyssa Watson, who scored her first career goal. We'll see if the Bobcats can rebound with the Big East matchup at Liberty this Friday.
And for more on that matchup against Liberty this Friday, Brian Schwartz has his keys to what the Bobcats need to do to pick up yet another Big East win. Brian?
What up? Brian Schwartz here. You there? My keys coming up. Let's roll. All right. Quinnipiac Field Hockey and number 19 Liberty as ranked by the National Field Hockey Coaches Association. So, what are the Bobcats going to do? Probably lose, but you play the game for a reason, right? You never know. Let's take a look at 3 keys for the Quinnipiac Bobcats if they want a victory. First, the most obvious one, score. Quinnipiac needs to score 2 or more goals in this game. The Bobcats are 4-1 this season, scoring 2 times or more. Only loss there came against nationally ranked Maine, and that one came down to the wire. In their losses against some of the tougher teams on the schedule, they weren't able to muster up the points to keep up with the opposition. Liberty has a few tough scorers, Agueda Maroney and Jill Bolton, a combined 21 goals on the season between the two. Score a few goals against Liberty and there's a shot. The defense keeps them in it just enough. Second, seems strange typically, but not here. Lean on the freshmen, Michaela Adams and Elisa Van Winkle. These are the playmakers on this team. These are the ones that know how to score. They have 4 goals apiece, leading the Bobcats. Get them in good positions to put points on the board. Third, control the penalty corners. Quinnipiac needs to convert on its opportunities. Sure, they won't all go the way they want, but make good passes and get the ball in the goal. The Ruiz-Martinez sisters do a terrific job at handling the ball in the shooting circle, so maybe feed them. Strube has an extremely hard shot, maybe feed her. The young freshmen Adams and Van Winkle have a knack for scoring, maybe hand it over to them. This is what Quinnipiac must do on the offensive side. Defensively, get Strube in the middle. Late in the game against Georgetown, Becca Maid moved Bianca Strube into a defensive position on a penalty corner. It ended up paying off as they got the key stop that eventually led to the win. By making these adjustments and trusting the brains of Coach Main, Quinnipiac will always have a shot. There's one thing to never doubt about this team. They will always be prepared and focused. And that comes right down from the head coach. My prediction, a pretty close one, Liberty 4, Quinnipiac 2. I'm Brian Schwartz.
Coming up on Sports Paws, we'll look to get our first look at the Quinnipiac women's hockey team.
And men's soccer leading goal scorer Eamon Whalen is live in studio. We'll hear from him next.
From Hamden to Hollywood, we are your source for entertainment news.
Hey there! Feast my children!
If you like debate, that's a converted relief pitcher making the start because it was a doubleheader. You got no hit by a relief pitcher. You can't tell me that's not embarrassing.
Analysis.
You can see his stance, his positioning right there is excellent.
And a side of entertainment.
Is he right or is he crazy?
Well, we all know the answer to that. He's a bit crazy, but I gotta say, you know.
Then join us on Bobcat Breakdown.
From the court to the ice to here on the diamond, we'll discuss everything you need to know about Quinnipiac athletics.
Bobcat Breakdown, Tuesdays at 9:30.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. The Quinnipiac women's volleyball team hosted its first 2 conference matches of the year this past weekend. Let's see how they did in their first match against Iona. The Gales are expected to finish second in the conference according to the preseason polls. Here in the first set, Quinnipiac is going to get out to an early lead. That's what you got to do against the best teams. You got to get ahead early and stay ahead. And Quinnipiac right there, unfortunately for them, gets blocked. The Gales frontliners, too much for them. Here off an Iona pass, Quinnipiac is able to find a little soft spot. I like to call that the Cat Miller change-up, Eric. You don't always need power, sometimes it's the location. And here the Bobcats again on defense, able to block a nice shot.
Kaylee Oates getting hyped on that play for sure.
Absolutely, and there again, more defense. The duo Lydia Jones and Maggie Baker blocked the Gales on that. Bobcats at the end of the first set. And it's Cat Miller finishes off with a kill. Quinnipiac takes the first set 28-26. Second set now, Quinnipiac trying to build off their first set lead. They get a nice point right here. That's Kaylee Oates with another kill. But Iona is able to come back. They go on to win 3-1. You see a nice block there.
Iona was a tough battle on Saturday, Kyle, but Quinnipiac was able to bounce back nicely against Manhattan the very next day. At the BirdCon court, the Bobcats beat the Jaspers, winning 3-0 in a dominating performance. Morgan Sherwin and Lydia Jones led the way in kills for the team, while Maria Pansari put up a solid 45 assists on the day. The team has a big road trip coming up with a match against the top team of the MAC, Fairfield. Let's hear more about this upcoming report and this matchup for the Manhattan game from Mike Dolan and Katie O'Keefe. Guys?
Here today at the BirdCon court, the Quinnipiac women's volleyball team played Manhattan and swept them 3-0. Alongside me, Mike Dolan, I'm Katie O'Keefe. Welcome into the rebound. So, Mike, did you expect to see them win in 3 sets?
I did expect Quinnipiac to win, Katie. Manhattan coming in, they were winless, 0-14. So they were desperate for a win. But at the same time, you know that they're a beatable team. And for Quinnipiac, that's a great confidence booster before they even play the game.
And so, as far as play goes and individual players for this team, who do you think stood out the most?
2 players for me in particular, Katie, Morgan Sherwin and Lydia Jones. Morgan Sherwin, she, leads that offense. She is so dynamic, and I think what I like about her is that she's small for a frontliner. She's only 5'7". Put that in perspective, I'm 5'7".
That's true.
And you're not going to see me, with a 30-inch vert. And then Lydia Jones, what I love about her is her ball placement, her ability to put the ball where no other player on the other side of the court can get it. And to me, that is so vital.
But now the team, their next opponent is Fairfield, #1 in the MAC conference. So, Mike, what do you expect to see from that game?
I expect a loss, can't lie. Fairfield hasn't lost an in-conference game since 2016. So 2 years, they've gone undefeated in MAC play. So I expect them, to win. If Quinnipiac can go toe-to-toe with them, maybe even win a set, that's progress in my opinion. And if they can carry that progress into their next away games,
It'll only make them better.
Exactly.
That's right.
And hopefully they can come out with more wins than losses.
That's right. So competition clearly only makes this team better. For Mike Dalton, I'm Katie O'Keefe. Thanks for listening.
The Quinnipiac women's volleyball team was picked to finish 4th in the MAC this year. Our Sports Paws poll of the week asked fans if they think the Bobcats will finish above, below, or stay in 4th place. It's very evenly split, as you can see on the screen, but the majority of the Twitter voted that the team will end the season below 4th in the conference. Quinnipiac currently sits at 2-2, slotting in at 6th in the conference. The Bobcats still have 14 MAC matches left.
Last week, the Quinnipiac men's soccer team picked up their first win of the season. Quinnipiac tried to make it 2 in a row as it hosted Central Connecticut State this Friday. Let's see how the Bobcats did. So here we go. As I said, Quinnipiac's looking for their second win. Central Connecticut State just looking for their first. We start off in the first half here. And here we go. Jordan Bennett for Quinnipiac tries to fire a long shot, but the goalkeeper's right there. Not fooled on that play, picks it up. And good defensive stop right there. But luck was on the Bobcat side here as goalie tries to reach up with his right hand, but it goes right past him. And Kyle, that's his first goal of the day. You'll have another one later. You'll see in this highlight here.
All smiles from him.
Oh, for sure. And now Connecticut State here trying to get a goal, and they do. Able to get it through the legs there of Gepay Here as they're able to get the equalizer goal to tie it at 1-1. So now, here we go.
From Central Connecticut.
Oh, for sure. So now, second half here, we have some 2 corner kick opportunities. Here's the first one, just missed off the header there by Auric Villa, but here we go, second chance here. The other header, this time it's defended off by Connecticut State, but again, there he is, the man himself, Matthew Taylor, picking up off the rebound with a nice goal as they're able to get the win, 2-1 right there. Quinnipiac getting their second win on the season.
The men's soccer team has 2 goalkeepers that have split time this year. Junior Chris Yakovidis has played in 3 games and holds a 2.10 goals against average and .682 save percentage. Transfer Jared Mazzola has played in 4 games and is only allowing .98 goals per game with a .840 save percentage. Mazzola also owns both of the Bobcats' wins this season.
We will now send it to our football experto, Roberto Casillas, who is live in studio with Eamon Whalen. Roberto?
Thanks, guys. We're here with Eamon Whalen from the men's soccer team. Eamon, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm all good. So let's get right to it then. It took the team a little while to get their first win this season, but now you've won 2 games in a row. What has been the difference these last 2 games?
Starting off the year, we didn't get any wins, obviously. We just pulled 2 out. So we've played some hard competition and everything like that. But for us, I think the keys have been sticking to the game plan.
Yeah.
You don't want to change mid-year. We have a good core of guys, good coaching. So, I mean, we just kept playing hard, kept playing like Quinnipiac soccer, and things are falling into place, and we got 2 wins.
That's great. You're going into your first conference game this Wednesday against Canisius. What are the keys to get a win on the road against a conference team like that?
Again, I would say keep playing Quinnipiac soccer. Conference games, they're unlike the out-of-conference games, obviously. A lot of emotion, a lot of heart goes into it, so anything can happen. So just got to keep sticking to our style of play and leave everything out on the field.
Yeah. Last year, of course, was a bit of a rough season for you. Your freshman year, you were Rookie of the Year. Last year, though, battled injuries throughout the season. So how tough was it for you personally?
It was very tough. I've never set out like that, never had that big of injuries with my groin or my knee. But as frustrating as it was, I realized how much I wanted to be back on the field. So in the off season, I was able to take that aggression or that frustration that I had during the year and use it to my advantage as preventative stuff for injuries and also strength and conditioning to make me the best as I can be this year.
Yeah, it sure helped out. Now you're leading the team in scoring with 4 goals in this early season. So what's going to be the key for you to keep this good play up heading into MAC play?
I'm going to say keep doing what the coaches are telling me to do. Believe in my guys. They've been able to, and you obviously know soccer's a team sport. They've been able to get me in ball in good positions. So keep making the runs, and I think my guys will find me. So.
Yeah, very team player from you. So yeah, to finish on a lighter note, which soccer player do you compare your game to, or which player do you try and emulate, if there's any?
If I had to pick one player, I'd say Harry Kane, the forward for Tottenham. He's a forward as I am, and he's a guy that puts away or finishes a lot of things, and I would say that's my strength.
Yeah.
I'm not the fastest guy or the strongest guy, but I happen to be in the right spot at the right time. So.
You look like him as well.
Thank you.
You know it. So, okay, thank you, and thank you, Eamon.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, send it back to you guys.
Thanks, guys. Time for one last commercial break. But when we come back, we'll see which plays made the cut for the Sports Paws Top 5 Plays of the Week.
Also, we will be covering the women's ice hockey team and their scrimmage on Saturday. Stay tuned.
From Hamden to Hollywood, we are your source for entertainment news.
Do you like debate?
That's a converted relief pitcher making the start because it was a doubleheader. You got no hit by a relief pitcher. You can't tell me that's not embarrassing.
Analysis.
You can see his stance, his positioning right there is excellent.
And a side of entertainment.
Is he right or is he crazy?
Well, we all know the answer to that. He's a bit crazy, but I gotta say, you know.
Then join us on Bobcat Breakdown.
From the court to the ice to here on the diamond, we'll discuss everything you need to know about Quinnipiac athletics.
Bobcat Breakdown, Tuesdays at 9:30.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. Winter is coming. And no, I'm not referencing the final season of Game of Thrones, but instead the Quinnipiac hockey season. The women's ice hockey team faced Guelph in their first scrimmage of the year. Let's see how they did, Eric, as they hit the ice at the newly named arena up on York Hill.
Yes, that is right, Kyle. So
the People's United Center. I forgot that. I moved to the TD Bank Sports Center.
No worries. Everyone's adjusting the change. So here we go. Cass Turner is entering her fourth season in the charge of Bobcats. We started the first period. Here's Renee Saltness getting the puck out of the scrum past their teammate Grace Markey, who finds the shoots and scores off the back post, getting Quinnipiac's first goal of the season. Now here we go. Kenzie Lacaster gets the puck over to Courtney Borster, who after her third time is finally the charm, gets it in for the goal. She extends the Quinnipiac lead to 2-0 over this Canadian team. And now we have the Guelph team trying to make a statement here. The goal shot by Caitlin Lowy off the Claire Merrick feed. It's now 2-1 Quinnipiac. And on the other end, Kenzie Lacaster has the puck again, passes it over to Melissa Samskovich, who was able to get it right in there for the Quinnipiac 3-1 lead. Risses past the goalie, Valerie Lamenta. And that'll be your final score, 4-1. She was able to get another goal at the end of the game. So Quinnipiac winning 4-1. So
ECAC Hockey announced the men's preseason coaches poll on Wednesday. Quinnipiac is picked to finish 7th in the conference after its first losing season in 22 years. The reigning Cleary Cup champions, Cornell, are picked to finish first again. Quinnipiac starts its season with a scrimmage against Prince Edward Island on October 6th.
Okay, so women's golf team played in the Dartmouth Invitational this past weekend. The Bobcats earned a 6th place finish out of 10 teams with a score of 30 over par. Sophomore Alexander Sazin was the highest finisher for the team at 8th place with a score of 2 over par. The Bobcats are in the middle of a Boston College Intercollegiate, which ends tomorrow.
The men's cross-country team struggled this Friday at the Battle in Beantown. Quinnipiac finished last out of 23 teams. The Bobcats have the week off before returning to action on October 6th for the New England Championships. And Eric, while the men's cross-country team might have finished last and not made the top 5 plays, there are plenty of other sports that did have amazing plays. So let's see the top 5 plays of the week. Sports Paws.
It's that time again. The top 5 plays of the week. Starting off with a freshman on the first play, Selena Sales, getting the second goal of this game against Fairfield for women's soccer. Nice shot off the left side. Quinnipiac going to win that game 3-0.
Play number 4, you just saw it, women's hockey versus Guelph, that exhibition game. And Courtney Borster, third time's the charm, scores a goal. Quinnipiac beats Guelph 4-1.
And play for 3. Here we go, right here against Manhattan. A nice slow motion shot here. The final kill of the game for Morgan Sherwin. A nice tool off of the block right there. This is the team's second win in the MAC, and as we said earlier, they're going to play Fairfield this Friday.
Why is it that everything looks better in slow-mo? That was unbelievable. And here, field hockey, play number 2, an amazing save right at the end of the game by the Quinnipiac defense. Quinnipiac goes on to win 2-1. That's a huge save, game-saving play.
And the number 1 play of the week is from our man Matthew Taylor, striking that goal off the right side of the net and getting that game-winning goal for the team. Final score, Quinnipiac 2-1. Just an overall good week for QU athletics.
Well, Eric, that will do it for us tonight on Sports Paws. Here's the week ahead, as you can see on your screen. Women's soccer has a MAC matchup away against Iona. Women's rugby, after having a week off, they'll go and face Notre Dame in Ohio. Women's ice hockey, now that the scrimmage is done, they'll move on and face Ohio State from the Big Ten, and then women's volleyball against the number 1 team in the MAC, Fairfield. That'll be a tough matchup. Well, Eric, that will do it for us tonight on Sports Paws. How does it feel to have your first show under your belt?
Well, Kyle, it was awesome. I'm grateful to be on Sports Paws with you, and hopefully we could do some more stuff together as well.
Of course, man. No, thank you so much. Glad to have you on. For even more Quinnipiac sports news, visit our website at Q30TV.com and follow us on Twitter at Q30Sports. I'm Kyle Levasseur.
And I'm Eric Kerr. Have a great night, and we'll see you next Monday.